Camp going, and you guys are about a little over a weekend. So how do you think it's going?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Really competitive. As you know, as Coach V says, iron sharpens iron. So I feel like offense and defense has been getting after it so far. Been going back and forth. It's been really good and really competitive.
Jackson, how's your growth coming along as you get into fall camp here?
I think it's been good, and it's something I focused on in spring ball, after the bowl game, during spring and during summer, just getting close to those guys, building that leadership, just being one unit. I feel like right now we're playing really solid right now and being very competitive.
Looks like you had a great summer. Did you feel like things for you went well this summer and everything?
For sure. Smitty definitely didn't take it easy on us this summer, but that's how you want it. You want to be tough on you. You want to build us up, make us strong, make us have good endurance. I feel like Coach Smitty coached us up really well this summer.
Jackson, Coach Venable said that SEC's games are won in the trenches. What makes you optimistic the Sooners are ready for that?
I feel like the guys that we've brought in from either the transfer portal or the 2024 class are really competitive. Big guys can get after it. Got after us today in practice. Guys like that are going to be a big difference for us, and guys that we've had and we've developed are going to be a big difference for us this year.
Jackson, can you talk a little bit about that running backs room? What you've seen out of this first week?
I've seen guys that want to go out and want to tote the rock and go score touchdowns. Man, obviously you want a guy to establish themselves. And that's what we're hoping for. But right now, I feel like all those guys are playing at a really good level right now, playing really competitive and really taking care of the ball so far.
Specifically, what have you thought of Taylor for these first 4 practices or so?
I thought he's been really good, and I think Taylor adds a unique passing element to our game. Whether you can line up in empty or do whatever, put him in the passing game. He's very versatile, and he's definitely going to be a good option for us this year.
Sort of along those lines, what about Javonte, and what difference have you seen from him this year versus last year when he was dealing with some injury things?
Yeah, like last year when Vontae was dealing with injuries, I didn't get to see his full potential or how he really was his freshman year per se. But I feel like right now he's extremely explosive, just powering through the line, running dudes over. I think he's being very physical right now. That's something that we need from him.
Jackson, what do you think of the wide receiver room? What do they have to offer, and how's that chemistry coming along?
Yeah, it's a deep wide receiver group. You got studs from left all the way to my right. Dudes that can go out and get the ball, can flat out play, can flat out fly. I'm going to need to rely on those guys this year to go out and make plays for me, and at the same time, they're going to need to rely on me to go out and give them good balls. So I think the world of that group, and they're playing very competitive right now.
Same question about the tight ends. What do you think about that group, and what have they shown you early in practice? Maybe some of the rapport that you built with some of those guys that are back.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for our tight end room right now is just having Jake back, finally practicing and getting, like pushing Bauer, and we can go, if you want to throw 2 tight ends in, we can throw 2 tight ends in and just go out and play our game. And I think having those 2 guys and rotating them around is going to be very versatile for us and help us out in the trenches.
Their experience show up?
For sure. Yeah, Jake's played a lot of ball. Bauer's played a lot of ball. And it shows, they have a certain savviness to the dudes that have that experience that, over guys that maybe haven't got a snap yet.
How's the comfort level of Branson coming along?
It's going good. Starting to build that chemistry with him. He's kind of getting to the groove of things. Really came in the summer, and it's kind of hard to build a connection with the O-lineman in the summer. You got your OTAs, but you're not putting pads on. You're not actually going to war with those guys. So right now, just building that chemistry with him and just making sure I'm getting snaps under center and in the shotgun with him.
What's it been like learning with Seth so far, and what's been maybe the biggest learning curve? Is there anything totally different with this offense?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a big learning curve with Coach Luttrell, but obviously he's a different person than Levy, different personality, maybe calls some things different than Levy, focuses more on certain things than Levy would. So I wouldn't say it's a learning curve, but, just kind of getting to know Coach Luttrell and seeing what he likes and, how he likes to call a game has been big for me this fall camp.
Jackson, from a quarterback's perspective, looking at that secondary, the body types and the abilities that exist at safety, at corner, at Cheetah for that matter. How excited do you get as a guy that's coming during the offense, knowing that on the defensive side of the ball, it feels like there's more depth and more talent in that secondary than there's been before?
It's super exciting for the season, but it sucks right now having to go against those guys. But, they make us better and make our receivers better, make me better with my reads. And, when I can throw the ball, when I can't, those guys will go out and make a play on the ball. So, having those dudes out there has been, great for me to see some competitive safeties that are playing at the highest level right now. Like, I feel like Billy Bowman's the best safety in college football right now. And being able to play against those guys is only going to make me better.
Jackson, Heath was a guy that came in with you last year. How far have you seen him come since you guys first got to campus?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of development and a lot of growth from Heath. Not only that, but a lot of maturity too. He's being asked a lot of right now to step up and be in that position to go out and potentially be on the starting O-line for us. And just seeing him grow up and not only physically put weight on, but mentally mature, learn the offense, learn his, whether it's calls an O-line or who he's going to, whatever the O-line has to do to go out and execute. I feel like he's been doing that at a high level.
Jackson, how do you handle the pressure that comes with being the starting quarterback at University of Oklahoma?
Just block it out. I mean, I know, Woody Washington sent me a tweet from, or a DM from, it was a quote from Kobe, and it said, it's only pressure if you put it on yourself. So, I mean, really just blocking it out, not putting pressure on yourself, and just staying level-headed.
I know you're feeling pretty good.
Feeling good.
Jackson, you talk about Jake and what you've seen from him. What have you learned from him, over this last week as you've been working with a healthy Jake Roberts?
I mean, like somebody asked earlier about that experience, man, you can tell Jake's played ball. Alongside that, he's played with Coach Luttrell too. He knows how Coach Luttrell operates, what he wants in the offense, and so going out and running out and executing those plays that how he's known to do it's been big for us. And even teaching those younger guys how these plays are supposed to be run. You can tell he's experienced. You can tell he has that savviness to go out and make plays.
Jackson, I remember you talking at the Alamo Bowl saying that you felt like last year's team was obviously somewhat Dylan's team. Mm-hmm. And I know in the spring you started to feel like it was starting to become your team. Do you still feel that way, that you've kind of stepped into that leadership role and that this has kind of become your team now that you're a few days into fall camp?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and just building on that is huge. Obviously getting with those guys, connecting with those guys, creating that chemistry with those guys is going to be huge this fall camp. We play a game in, 3.5 weeks. So getting those guys on the same page and just being a unit is going to be the biggest thing for us going to that first game.
Do you find yourself being more vocal in certain moments, or are you still trying to?
More vocal for sure, and that was something that was harped on me by Coach Luttrell, Coach Finley, Coach Schmitty in the offseason, just being louder, being more vocal for those guys.
Jackson, go back to the secondary. Obviously, you're a guy, haven't played with him in high school, it's familiar with Eli Bowen's game, but obviously I think there are a lot of people out there that still only know him as Peyton's younger brother. Yeah. What do you think the people need to know about who Eli Bowen is, and what's impressed you about what he's done so far since he got here?
Yeah, I love Eli. I mean, he's just a technical ball player. I mean, Coach V talks about, effort with technique, and he's got it all. He's got all the technique that he needs. In high school, I think his sophomore year, my junior year, he had like 10 picks or something crazy that year, and just technical ball player is going to be at the right spot at the right time and go out. He's able to make all the plays that he needs to make.
The way you see it, what are the next steps for this offense to make during camp to be ready when that game comes in 3 weeks?
I think for us, just being more physical. SEC, obviously we have some non-conference game first, but that for SEC play, the games are won in the trenches, like Coach V said. So just being physical, being tough, and just playing fast is going to be our biggest advantage.
What's the confidence level having a guy like Jacob Sexton, who's played ball before, at OU for that matter, anchor in the line of left tackle?
Yeah, it's a lot of confidence, looking up and seeing a guy that's like 6'7", 330 or whatever, blocking for me is definitely a good sight.
How much has that offensive line maybe grown since the spring, now that they've had some time together?
I've really seen that O-line gel, not only as a team, but, as friends. They've gotten really close over this past offseason, and, all the transfers that came in, all the new guys, the 2024 guys, I feel like they've all came in. They've created a really good brotherhood, and just got really close to each other to where they're at the point where they're holding each other accountable. They're yelling at each other, but it's out of love. They're trying to get each other better. I really appreciate that.
You talked earlier about some of the transfers that you guys brought in on the offensive line, and you think about a guy like Branson, but also a guy like Deion Burks at wide receiver. How do you think guys like that are not new to college football, but certainly new to Oklahoma, new to the system, have done kind of striking the balance between leading and learning?
Yeah, I think those transfer guys have done a great job. Obviously, guys that have played a lot of ball. Branson's played a ton of ball. Deion's played a ton of ball. So for them, I feel like it was them coming in and just creating a splash with the team, bonding with the team, creating that chemistry with the team has been the biggest, I feel like for me or for them, that's the biggest, focus point for them is really bonding with those guys. Those guys know that they're going to play ball for us. So really just getting close with the team and just, just becoming one was probably big for them this offseason.
Brent said the other day that your decision-making is a lot better maybe this fall than what it was in the spring. How's that something you work on in the off season? Is it something that you just need reps, or is it watching film? Like, how do you get better at that?
Yeah, I think, you can watching film definitely helps, but at the end of the day, you got to go out and execute and play ball. And I feel like for me, it's doing walkthroughs. I wish we had one of those VR goggles where you can see the defense, but it's doing walkthroughs. It's just envisioning the defenses in your head, and really it's just getting reps. Going out in fall camp, just getting as many reps as you can, just being clean, taking care of the ball, and making good decisions.
Anything else for Jackson? All right, thanks, Jackson.